moral of the story is never have an epiphany in the middle of a speech. I had been asked by a friend to speak to a group called Spiritual Frontiers Foundation, and they have a conference once a year to where they explore how they can help our society evolve spiritually. They're very committed to a higher spiritual life, and I had been asked to give a speech called "How the Money Works in Organized Crime," which later became a very famous article, "How the Money, Narco Dollars for Beginners." So I'm in the middle of the speech talking about how the U.S. Congress had had hearings about allegations of narcotics trafficking by the intelligence agencies into South Central LA. It's called the so-called Dark Alliance allegations. And at the time, the Department of Justice had told a reporter that I was working with that the U.S. economy launders $500 billion to $1 trillion a year of all illegal money. So that's not just narcotics trafficking, it's financial fraud, illegal gambling, everything. And so I said to this wonderful group of spiritually evolved, committed people, what would happen if we stopped being the global leader in money laundering? And they said, well, it'd be a problem because that money would not go to the New York Stock Exchange if we stopped. The money would leave and go to Hong Kong or Zurich. And, we'd have trouble refinancing the government deficit. So I said, well, let's pretend there's a big red button up here on the lectern. And if you push that button, you can stop all hard narcotics trafficking in your county, your community, your neighborhood, your state, your country tomorrow, thus offending the people who control not only a $500 billion to $1 trillion a year of all dirty money, but the accumulated capital thereon. Who here will push the button? And out of 100 people dedicated to evolving our society spiritually, only one would push the button. So I wouldn't let him answer. So I said to the other 99, why would you not push the button? And they said, we don't want our IRAs and 401ks to go down in value. We don't want our mutual funds to decline. And we don't want our government checks to stop because we don't, if you had trouble financing the government deficit, our government checks would stop or our taxes would go up. And so I said, so you want the powers that be continue to market drugs to your neighbor's children to keep your taxes low and your 401ks up? And they said, yes, that's right. And what was interesting, the epiphany I had that day was everyone was so afraid to face that or talk about that we couldn't get to the point where we could do what I call, which is turn the red button green. Because the right question is not how do we push the red button. The right question is how do we make money pushing the red button? How do we turn the red button green? Because if you can make money pushing the red button, then you can push the red button. And no one feels safe enough or comfortable enough to talk about that. And it's a little bit like a body with, when you take methadone. Methadone or drugs makes your body weaker and weaker and weaker. So it can't possibly be profitable. It's the same with an economy. The more economy depends on criminal enterprise, the more you're making money at things that make you economically stupid, okay? Because you're doing, you're getting good at criminal enterprise, you're getting good at financial fraud, instead of, getting good at things that really are useful and have some real economic productivity to them. So you're making your body politic weaker and weaker the more dependent you get on this money. So it can't lead to any place good. So there is a way to turn the red button green, but it starts by being honest with each other. And one of the reasons I wrote the article Beyond Coming Clean Beyond the Fiscal Cliff is we've got to face that. We've got to look at that if we're going to turn the red button green. And in that sense, we have all been complicit because we've been letting the leadership draw us in a more and more perverted and criminal way. And as we've done it, we've made the body politic weaker and weaker and weaker because we're all spending our time doing things that are making us stupider instead of spending our time making things that make us healthier and stronger.